I'm wondering how you're doing. Are you seeing any difference in your sugar intake since we started at all? Yes? What difference, more or less? Less? You're seeing some less? Good. What's helped? Do you notice fiber making any difference? As you have increased your fiber a little bit, have you noticed that that cuts down your craving for sugar at all? Yep. Sometimes it does. So you have noticed that? And also, have you found some ways to increase your fiber? Anybody found a new way to increase your fiber? Apples, that's a good one. Maine apples, yes? What is it called? Hemp seed. I never heard about that. I have been using flaxseed recently, and I've gotten to really like that. I grind up a little bit in my grinder just as I'm eating my hot cereal. Put it on my hot cereal with some frozen berries because I don't like hot cereal real hot. And so I put some frozen berries in it with some flaxseed, and I really like that. It's very good. Okay, well, I'd like to give you a warm welcome tonight. I'm so thankful that you're here. We've lost a few people tonight for some reason, but we've gained a few more, some young men over here that we're real glad to have with us tonight. And I'd like us to bow our heads as we begin. Father in heaven, we thank you for the good food that we've had. We thank you for this fellowship. And we pray that you'll be with us again tonight as we meet together. We thank you for the encouragement that the others have been to us, and we just pray for your continued guidance in Jesus' name. Amen. I am so thankful to be in this group. I really am, because it's been a real blessing to me, and I hope it has been an encouragement to you too. You've noticed that we have some extra books out at the table. These make nice gifts too, so if anybody's interested, it will help us keep this seminar going because we do plan to have another seminar. In fact, we're planning a seminar in the spring, which is a follow-up for this seminar. Is it just Food for Thought is the name of the seminar that will next be offered, and then we'll offer this one again in the fall. So if you know of anybody who you think would benefit from it, you'll want to be sure and tell them about it. So we have those cookbooks, and tonight we're going to be talking about fats. And many people are confused about how much or what kind or how much to cook with or without fats, and this is what we're going to be discussing tonight, about how to include fats wisely into our diet. We're going to begin by playing a video where we're asking Dr. Neblett a question, and then the next part of the video is what's cooking, fighting stress at the store and at the stove. And it will inspire us to practice what we're learning. We're going to go shopping with Vicki and Evelyn, and Vicki will show us how to make a healthful salad that looks so good you'll want to eat it. Wish we had one along with our food tonight because it really does look good. Okay, we're going to watch the video now.
B12?
We need vitamin B12, particularly those who are on a plant-based diet and are vegan vegetarian.
Dr. Neblett, if I choose a total plant-based diet, where do I get my vitamin B12?
We need vitamin B12, particularly those who are on a plant-based diet and are vegan vegetarians. I strongly recommend, and that's what I do, I supplement with vitamin B12. B12 is stored in the liver for a pretty long period of time. But if you have a diet that does not have vitamin B12 in it, you are likely to suffer the effects of particular anemias as well as certain nerve problems. So B12, best thing to do is just supplement. I use the sublingual variety, and I just put one under my tongue and do so on a regular basis.
Hey, Vicki and Evelyn, what's cooking? Some of Lifestyle Matters time-tested tips and tricks to finding and fixing delicious, healthy, simple, fast, brain-boosting, plant-based entrees, breakfast, lunches, desserts, and more.
Welcome to my favorite place in the grocery store. I love to come to this area because you get so many foods that are rich in color, rich in taste, and rich in foods that give you lots of energy. These foods are also loaded with vitamins and minerals and many compounds that can help you to enjoy vibrant health. I like to call this area the Department of Defense because there are substances in foods that come in and repair damage that's done and also protect your cells from damage.
Evelyn, I think you have rightly named this the Department of Defense. Those healthy compounds, aside from vitamins and minerals, are called phytochemicals. And there are more than 25,000 of them in the variety of fruits and vegetables that you eat, hopefully on a daily basis. Did you know that phytochemicals help to provide the color, texture, flavor, and beauty of the foods that you eat that are grown out of the ground and on the trees? And they have many healing compounds that we're just beginning to discover. Evelyn, how many people are eating salads these days?
People are not eating enough salad. We need to eat more salads. We need more vegetables on our plate because there's so much power on the plate when you eat fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. And just look at all the variety here. Look at what we could add to our salad. Some of this dark green leafy. Why do we want to choose the dark green?
The reason that we want the darker greens rather than the iceberg type lettuces is because your dark green leafy vegetables are going to be a good source of calcium, boron, and magnesium, as well as B6. These vitamins are very important, and the minerals are very important not only for bone health, but for nervous system strength. We need a good variety of green, yellow, red vegetables and fruits in the diet on a daily basis.
So you're saying that eating a salad can help with stress?
Well, it's not my invention, but there are studies coming out which make it very clear that when we have higher blood levels or serum levels of certain nutrients, our stress levels are going to be lower, and that's really good news. We have a virtual pharmacy in the natural foods that God has provided for us. And when we arrange a salad and have that first, when we're having a vegetable meal, it's a very good idea because it helps to slow our eating down. It helps to provide satiety, moisture, flavor, and variety. It also gives us a good dose, a loading dose of fiber, our fabulous forgotten friend. And Evelyn, I know that you have some wonderful dressing ideas for salads that are very handy. Rather than the bottled high-fat dressings, there are some very simple, tasty ways to get healthy fats in the diet in the right balance.
That's right. You know, so many people will smother their lettuce with so much fat, and there's so many wonderful alternatives. An easy recipe that I like to use for a dressing is to use twice as much lemon juice as olive oil, and then add something like an herb mixture, maybe a little bit of salt, and it makes such a nice fresh dressing, and it's the good kind of fats. But getting those salads in is a wonderful way and an easy way to help power you up and help you fight off some of that stress during the day.
That is so well put, Evelyn. Another really nice little dressing idea that's so easy is just to take a ripe avocado and mash it, mix it with a little lemon, and if your salad dressing with the lemon and olive oil is a little too sharp for you, just add a little water and shake it up. It works really well to moisten up that salad. I also like to use a little sesame tahini. That's a nice source of the monounsaturated fats, which we enjoy on our salad with a little bit of lemon. Absolutely delicious flavor. And so we can enjoy salads. And for those of you who like a little switch from a salad, Evelyn, I know that you have made some of the most beautiful vegetable platters with a wide variety.
Many times it's a nice alternative. If you feel like that you have to smother a salad with a lot of dressing, maybe you would just enjoy having a fresh vegetable plate and eat the carrots raw and do some radishes and some green or yellow or red peppers, some celery, and that makes a wonderful alternative to a salad. You know, some people tell me, you know, I just don't want to take the time to make salad. Now in our grocery stores, we have some great alternatives.
There are wonderful alternatives, and before we look at those alternatives, I just want to mention that a little bit of lemon juice on that salad is a great alternative to vinegar, because lemon is actually going to increase the availability of iron from those vegetable foods, up to 4 times better absorption of iron from those greens when you put lemon juice on them as opposed to vinegar.
Because you have the vitamin C,
Yes.
it helps to absorb the iron.
Absolutely.
And it tastes great.
It's absolutely wonderful. Hey, let's take a look at some of these salad fixings.
Okay. When you're making your salad, choose lettuce that is rich in green color. When you see the green color, you see lots of carotenoids and lots of vitamins and minerals in there. And don't make just a little wimpy salad with just lettuce. Add lots of variety. Put some color in there with some radishes, some nice red tomatoes, some nice lycopene. Make a dressing or add a little bit of avocado with the good fats. Adding some great carrots to your salad can add lots of good nutrition, lots of vitamins and minerals, and you know it has beta carotene and carotenoids, full and rich, and adds lots of nice color. If you don't feel like making a salad, just have some raw veggies with your meal, some raw carrots and cauliflower, but add lots of color to your salads where you're going to get good nutrition. Also adding some green, red, orange, and yellow peppers, lots of phytochemicals and vitamins and minerals that are rich in color.
I know what you're thinking. I'm in so much of a hurry. The fact that you're in a hurry is all the more reason why you need a healthy salad. And that salad does not have to be dull, lifeless, or shabby. There are so many options for people in a hurry today, like this. You can buy organic salad mixes. I like to buy Spring Mix. Spring Mix is one of my favorites, and we'll show you how to spruce it up in the kitchen. You can take a regular head of lettuce and mix it up with this and make a lovely, lovely salad. I like to add some good things to it as well, like celery. You can buy wonderful sprouts, even broccoli sprouts. They're just marvelous and add a lot of zest. I like to chop a little fresh parsley in my salad. Try some different cabbage ideas. If you're really busy, you can buy cabbage that's already cut up for you, shredded or diced. Try some different cabbages, like the Savoy. They're very tender and easy to chop, or bok choy, or other types of cabbage, like Napa. Very, very delicious. Or try shredding a little bit of zucchini or yellow squash in your salad. We need to be careful about toppings. It's easy to get real heavy on the toppings. People put peanuts and fried chips and sesame sticks and beans and all kinds of things on their salad, and a heavy dressing on top of that, plus olives and pine nuts and everything else they can think of. And you can get to the place where you've got more than a main meal, and maybe you're going to end up with a little indigestion. So plan your salad according to what you're going to be eating for the rest of your meal. It's nice to take some of these mixed salads and stuff them in a pita pocket or a bread. You can always include a fresh salad in your meal, even if you're taking it along. We just call it a brown bag buffet. We're going to go to the kitchen and show you just how you can experiment with some of these salad ideas. When I say salad, what do you think of? Do you think of iceberg lettuce, heavy white dressing, maybe some chips and bacon bits on top, and sesame sticks? That's not the healthiest salad to get you through the day. Let's make a salad that's interesting, vibrant, and delicious, that will give your mental engine a purr instead of a ping. What we want to start with is some beautiful leaf lettuce. Here, I have some lovely red lettuce that I like to use in my salads. There are the green leaf lettuces, but the deeper the color of your lettuce, the more minerals that you're going to have. So what I like to do is break up some of this lettuce in my salad bowl, and we're going to do some interesting things with this salad today. Just break it up. It's crispy, it's tender, and it's a lovely color. I really like to buy the organic spring mixes that you can get at the grocery store. They contain a variety of rich and colorful green leafy lettuces and tender greens that are absolutely delicious and make your salad luscious, a real gourmet treat. And here's how you treat these greens. When you first get them, they may seem a little wilted. Here's a tip that you're going to want to remember. What I do is I take a bottle, I have it on my kitchen sink, and it's just filled with water. It's a spray bottle, and I spritz my little lettuce pieces and transfer them to a bowl as I spritz them. Just a light misting of water to spruce them up, just like that. And then when I transfer them to my plastic container, they actually will perk up and be absolutely as fresh as the day they were picked for several days. They will last longer. If you leave them in the plastic container or in the bag that you buy them, you'll be throwing that lettuce away in a couple of days, and it's too expensive for that. But this lettuce is absolutely delicious addition to any salad, and one of the reasons that I mix it with this kind of lettuce is because it is more economical to do so. So let's put some of this gorgeous mix in our salad bowl. I even see some little tender baby beet greens in here. Absolutely lovely. Some oriental greens. They're delicious. They're sweet. I'm going to actually make this salad a little bigger than I intended because it's just looking so beautiful. Now our next step in this salad is to add some lovely phytochemical-rich plant foods that are going to help to stimulate better mental health, better nervous system integrity, better physical health, all the way around. And having some raw food during the day in your mix of lunch is going to keep you from going into that dip in the afternoon where you get so sleepy. So what I like to do, I like to add a variety of really interesting things to my salads. Here are some raw little spinach greens. And of course, we all are very familiar with the cucumbers. And I love to get the hothouse cucumbers and put some of those in there. And don't forget some nice onions if you like them. This will give a lovely tang to our salad. Onions have been shown to lower the incidence or risk for stomach cancer. And phytochemicals, many of the phytochemicals that are in these plant foods, which add the color, flavor, and texture to the foods that you're eating, they are known cancer fighters. And so we want to be sure and include a good source of these every day in the diet. And a salad is a good way to do it. I love to put raw peppers in my salad. This is a green pepper, and we'll put some slices in. It adds such a lovely crunch and tang and color to the salad. But I don't just stop with green peppers because every color pepper has a slightly different flavor to it and an aroma. So I love to add the beautiful, rich, robust red bell peppers to my salad as well. They add a lovely flair to any salad that you make, and these foods are rich in carotenoids. Carotenoids are stress lowering, and we need plenty of them in the diet. And that's why I also add carrots. I love to get the baby carrots, and I just cut them down, sliver them in the long ways. They're very easy. They've They're easy to wash, easy to store. They last several days. And they're a lovely, colorful addition to this salad. We're going to look at this salad in a moment and see just how tempting it really is. And some people like to add some other colors to their salad, like radishes. So we'll add a few radishes. And let's not forget our ever luscious and ever abundant cherry tomatoes. They are absolutely delicious. No salad is complete without them. And there's one little addition that I've really been enjoying recently, and I'm adding it to my salads on a regular basis, and that is fresh parsley. Parsley keeps beautifully in the refrigerator for, more than a week sometimes if you store it properly in a plastic container with a little paper towel at the bottom. And I cut up little bits of parsley, fresh parsley, in my salad. It's very sweet, and it's very nice for your breath too. It counteracts that onion that you've put in there. So I'm going to add a little bit more parsley. Now, what about our fat sources? We want some fat sources in this salad because, after all, it's the fat that's going to give this thing the extra palatability and smoothness and good feeling in the mouth. No salad is complete without a good dressing. And I like to use lemon on my salads. The reason that I use lemon is because not only is it far better on the digestive system than a vinegar preparation, but lemon also is going to increase the availability, the bioavailability of the vegetable form of iron. And that's good news. So I'm going to squeeze some lemon on this salad. Matter of fact, I love it so much, I like mine tangy. So I'm going to put the whole lemon in here, and it looks like somebody's going to get a surprise because a seed went in, but there's probably something good about that too. And let's talk about some fat sources in this salad. How about some nice sources of omega-3 fatty acid, like walnuts? We put some pecans. A lot of people like to put the green pepitas, the pumpkin seeds. They're very delicious. So I love to add the crunchy walnuts or pecans to my salad. And you can always top it off with a few olives, black or the nice green olives. I'm going to cut up a few. Sometimes I just break them up. It's just as easy to break them as it is to cut them. And they're going to add a lovely flavor to the salad. You can top it off with just a little fine sprinkling of shredded cabbage. I like the Napa or Savoy cabbage because it's more tender and lettuce-like. And let's not forget a wonderful source of brain-healthy monounsaturated fats are avocados. And by the way, the nuts are going to be a good source of monounsaturated fats as well. They're very rich in monounsaturated fats, and monounsaturated fats are very good, especially for the aging brain. And we don't want our brains to age too fast, do we? So we want to keep the right fats in our diet. So I'm adding some nuts and avocado to this salad. It's going to be absolutely luscious. And remember, fat, F-A-T, is not spelled B-A-D. We need fat in the diet for a variety of reasons, and it tastes good too. The amount of fat that you have in your diet is going to depend on your age, activity level, and your weight. But enjoy these healthy sources of brain-healthy fats in the diet. Now, what I like to do for dressing is use, with my lemon, a little extra virgin olive oil. And in this salad, I'm just going to drizzle a little extra virgin olive oil on there. Absolutely wonderful source of monounsaturated fats, and also it's rich in flavonoids, more than 30 different flavonoids in the extra virgin olive oil. And if you want a Roquefort type of a flavor for your salad dressing, what I like to use is sesame tahini. Again, a healthy source of fat. And I'm going to drizzle just a little bit of sesame tahini in this salad, and it's going to give it a Caesar salad or almost a Roquefort type of a flavor. Sesame tahini is what you want to look for in the store. Absolutely sensational flavor in this salad. It surprises even children. They're not expecting this tang in the salad. It's really delicious. So I want to show you this salad now. It's lovely, isn't it? Looks good enough to eat. Now, there are several different ways that you can package this salad to enjoy in your busy workday. And let me talk about just a couple of them. In our special book that we've prepared for you that goes with this video called Simple Solutions, we have a very, very nice hummus recipe. Hummus is made with garbanzo beans and sesame tahini. It's a very, very nice, healthy spread from the Middle East. And here we've made some up for you. It's very popular. You can buy it in the grocery stores, in most grocery stores or health food stores. Very simple to make. You'll enjoy it very much. And here's a nice idea for a quick and delicious lunch. You can take a pita bread or pita pocket or a whole wheat. You can take a whole wheat tortilla like this. And what you can do is warm the tortilla in a microwave at work or on a grill. Just heat it to put a few bubbles in it. Then spread some of your sesame tahini in the shell. Now we are going to put this fabulous fare in our shell and wrap it up and eat it. Now you tell me, doesn't that look like a lunch fit for a king? You just roll it right up and enjoy the beautiful, luscious crunch of a variety of healthy, phytochemical-rich, nutrient-rich, plant-based foods with a delicious spread in a gorgeous setting in this nice roll or stuffed in a pita pocket. You have yourself a lunch that will get you through the day and get you through it the right way.
So prepare your seasonings as you and your family will enjoy. And make you a mess of greens real soon.
We've talked a lot today about the benefits of salads and raw food in the diet, and they are important. But what about cooked food? Did you know that a baked potato has the same amount of vitamin C as a raw one? And what about cooked vegetables? Are they worthless? Do we need cooked food in the diet? You know, there are certain advantages to having cooked food in the diet. For one thing, carotenoids are better absorbed in cooked vegetables than raw. And iron absorption is actually enhanced in a cooked vegetable rather than a raw. And in addition to that, in cooked grains, protein absorption is going to be better than in raw. So there are several reasons to enjoy a variety of cooked vegetables in the diet.
To discover more simple solutions on how to lower stress in your life naturally, order this video's companion book, Diet and Stress: Simple Solutions. Its beautiful, 4-color, easy-to-read pages are filled with fast, delicious, plant-based recipes, stress-lowering ideas, self-help sections, and practical tips on how to control stress in your life. To order any of these products, just write to the address on your screen or call toll-free 866-62-4LIFE. That's 866-624-5433. Or visit us at lifestylematters.com. Lifestyle Matters. We're changing lives for good.
Thursday night, we're going to have some more about phytochemicals, too. And I think you'll enjoy that. And also, there'll be another presentation. I have really gotten to enjoying salads. I usually eat celery or carrots or something like that. This week, I've been eating some salads and just keeping little pieces because I'm by myself, cutting up like a red pepper in fourths and putting some paper towel around it so it doesn't get too soggy, and a little avocado. And I try to vary my vegetables from week to week because I can't have enough around to do like she's doing. But when I'm by myself, I can at least have different things, different weeks, and it keeps me with a variety in my diet that way too. So that's what I do. You might have some ideas to share in your table discussion tonight too. Tonight we have Peggy Rittenhouse with us, who is a nurse and also has taught nutrition to nursing students for a long time, and she's going to talk to us some more about fats.
Thank you, Lenore, and it's nice to see you. Some of you look quite familiar. Helene was one of my students, and so was Anya. So anyway, on the middle of your table, I think there's some handouts there if you want to use them. It's just kind of going along with my notes. I have it on PowerPoint, but we're not using it on the screen. Am I getting feedback? Is that funny, this sound? Okay, now first off, you notice that our subject, of course, is fats. What's good, what's bad, and that's what we're planning to do tonight. Now, I did put under definitions that usually the word technically should be lipids. Those of you who are nurses know that. You hear about hyperlipidemia and all that sort of thing. But, and technically, again, lipids that are solid at room temperature are called fats, and those that are liquid at room temperature and so forth are called oils, and I gave you a few examples. I had to put that in just for the technical aspect of it. Okay, why do we need fats? You remember, I'm sure a lot of you from your schooling, that there are a multitude of vitamins, and they're divided into fat-soluble and water-soluble. And you learned probably ADEK, A-D-E-K, are the ones that are fat-soluble. So again, we need fat for that reason, to help with our certain vitamins, and these are very important vitamins to deal with, that's for sure. Now, she mentioned also in the video about the satiety value of fats, and we know that, just sprinkling on a little lemon juice on a salad would be good for you, but it might not satisfy you as much as what she put on. She put on some olive oil, and she put on a little sesame tahini. That's kind of a new idea. I think I'll try that. I love hummus and certainly use it, the sesame tahini, but I don't know that I've ever tried it quite like that, but I'm going to try that. So what the satiety value does, it satisfies, it makes you feel fuller longer, that's for sure. And fats also have to do with, the cell membrane needs fats. Certainly cholesterol is even on the cell membrane. Our brains, our nerve cells all need certain amounts of fat, of course. And it helps, there are many other things. It works on our immune system. I've got a whole list that you don't have on yours. Even fat is stored up for energy, of course. There are times when we might need that too. And if you were to look in surgery, for instance, and you see the organs inside of you, some of them have fat around them or certain parts. It works as absorption or to absorb shocks, so that's also good. Now, what are the best kinds of fats to eat? And she really showed you that pretty much on the video. And of course, the very best ones come naturally, the ones that come in the foods, and naturally the way they grow, you might say. So again, we have here walnuts. We'll be talking a fair amount about walnuts because they're so good for you, and there's many other kinds of nuts that would be good. They're not skinifying, that's for sure. They don't make you thin necessarily. That's why you don't want to eat too many of them. But they're very good for you, the fat in that. There's seeds. This happens to be sunflower seeds here. Of course, you can roast them bake them in the oven for a little while, make them a little crispier, as you can other nuts, that's for sure. She mentioned avocados. I can remember when I first ate avocados. I was in California. I had never seen an avocado in my life. I was a little girl. We were visiting out there. And to think, ooh, that was the slimiest texture. I couldn't begin to eat it. But now I do love avocados. But again, these things have got fat in and they've got calories, but they're the good kind of fat. So avocados are really a good kind. And then, of course, they're the olives. Got lots of fat in them, but again, the healthy kind of fat for us, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later. Now, there are special kinds of fats called omega-3s. There's omega-6, there's even omega-9. These are called the essential fatty acids. Now, there's getting a lot of press these days, of course, and you can get them in a plant-based diet, and walnuts, again, is the wonderful source of omega-3s. I did attend an International Vegetarian Nutrition Council in Loma Linda this spring. For a whole week it went on, and they had all kinds of things about walnuts, how wonderful they are for you. Another thing are the flax seeds. Now, one thing to remember about flax, don't buy the flax that's already ground, because it does lose some of its nutrition by just hanging around. And the thing to do, Dr. Barnard, who's in the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, says, it's wonderful food. You have to grind them or chew them or something, because you won't get the nutrition. They'll just go right through you unless you grind them up. But he suggests grinding maybe a week's supply at a time, putting them in a little jar and putting them in the freezer, because it will lose its potency. So again, what I do, and I had them on my oatmeal this morning. Here's a little coffee grinder. And I just put like a tablespoon in there, and just grinds up very easily. But again, if you wanted to do a week at a time, you could do that. But again, it's best. And I have a niece who's a dietitian. I am not a dietitian, so what I've had to learn pretty much on my own, and some courses I had in nutrition. But she suggests that you must be very careful that you don't buy the already ground flax, according to her. And I think that's very true. Now, omega-3s are so important for us because they help prevent atherosclerosis, that sticky stuff that sticks on the inside of our arteries, and also which, of course, helps us prevent heart disease and stroke as well. And it probably is even helpful for joint discomfort, joint pain. Now, of course, we hear a lot about fish being, particularly the fatty fish like salmon and so forth, as being an excellent source of omega-3s, which it is. But of course, it is cholesterol and saturated fat, and then the contaminants that could be around in the ocean, such as mercury and so forth. So that is definitely a disadvantage with that. And there is such a thing as deficiencies of omega-3s, and it would affect our immune system, it would affect our skin. Your skin becomes very dry and scaly. Now, other things that are good for us, good oils, are, as she mentioned, were the extra virgin olive oil. And that is a little more expensive, of course, but it is particularly a good kind of oil for us. We know about the Mediterranean diet, and of course that's very rich in plants as well, salads and vegetables and so forth, and they use quite a bit of olive oil. Another thing is canola oil. Soy oils, they seem to have omega-3s as well. Canola oil is one of those monounsaturated fats, and you hear quite a bit about saturated, polyunsaturated fatty acids, monounsaturated fatty acids. It has to do with the chemical, the way it combines with the carbon and the hydrogen. Pete would know a lot more about it than I do. He's taught all that sort of thing, I'm sure. I've had a couple of courses in chemistry, but it's pretty rusty from what it is. But it has to do with the molecule, the fat molecule, and how it works in our bodies and so forth. Okay, how much fat do we need? The American Heart Association, and what's in your handout, and you've got a handout, you've got another handout there that comes with the course here, recommends 20 to 30% of total calories. Now, you can get along with a lot less than that, but this is what they recommend, and I see that they do that in this as well. So again, how much fat we need, has to do with our body size, of course, how old we are, the climate. It has to do with our activity. For instance, if you're a hardworking farmer, you could use a lot more than somebody that's sedentary and that kind of thing. So the recommended is approximately 20 to 30% of calories. For instance, if you needed 1,500 calories a day, and if you 20%, that would be, of course, times 0.20, that would be about 300 calories that you would use that particular day. And I wrote down here the women, approximately 30 to 40 grams of fat per day, men a little bit more, 30 to 50. Now, one thing about fat, it's very caloric density. You know, carbohydrates and protein has 4 calories. Technically, the word is kilocalories, but we use the word calories. It has 4 calories per gram. But fat has how many? 9 calories per gram. That's right. So you see, it's more than twice as dense as protein and carbohydrates. Now, to give you some idea of grams, by the way, grams, of course, is the metric system, which we nurses, I should say, are very familiar with. But in comparing grams to teaspoons is a little difficult, but approximately 5 grams in a teaspoon. I learned way back when that there were 4 to 5 grams. I mean, it shows that there are, it's not exact measurement, but that's approximately it, approximately 5 grams in a teaspoon, which means, and there are how many teaspoons in a tablespoon? 3, right? So there are 3, that would be 15 grams in a tablespoon of fat. So if you needed 30 grams a day, and you take that times 9 calories, that would equal 270 calories. That's just one way of figuring it out. Okay, now are we eating too much fat? And that is a problem, isn't it? It's in so many things we eat, unfortunately. We can't see, it's invisible. If we're having cookies, unless we're baking them ourselves and we're pouring in the butter or the fat or the oil or whatever we're making them, we don't notice it. It's all, nicely baked and looks so tempting, but of course it does have quite a bit of fat. Here's an 8-ounce piece of meat, like a steak, and it's about the size of your hand here, something like that, is about 65 grams of fat. Wow. And a fast food burger with fries is about 50 to 60 grams of fat. And again, it varies. I went by Burger King. I felt a little guilty just even going by. But anyway, this has got smells kind of good, huh? Anyway, and I asked them to put in the bag, this little thing on the nutritional value. So, if any of you are interested afterwards, you can look and see about, for instance, a Whopper, just a Whopper by itself would be 40 grams of fat, and then you put French fries with that. You can imagine it's over 60, it's like 65 here. So again, that's just one of the things to be aware of when we are eating. A bag of chips. Anybody like Fritos? Look at this nice little bag of chips. You could probably eat more than one bag. Here it is, just this little bit, one serving here, and it's 10 grams of fat in that little bit here. So again, the cookies, the crackers, the baked goods, and so forth all have what we would say hidden sources of fat. Now let's look at what 60 grams of fat might look like. Here's Crisco. Now my mother used Crisco forever, and I blame some of maybe the health problems I have today. I blame on my mother for Crisco, because it's wonderful. By the way, and it's pretty white, and it just looks wonderful, and it works good. My mother used it in gravy, and she used it in cookies, and I don't know what all. Okay, let's look. So here's a tablespoon, and we're going to look. So here, let's pick up, now, pardon my fingers, I'm just going to throw this away anyway, but let's get a tablespoon here, approximately, of fat. Okay, here's one, and that's how many grams of fat? In 1 tablespoon? 15, right? Okay. Now this is a little full here. We won't make it quite that. Okay, here's 2. So how many in that? Okay, 30. And here's 3. That's 45. Good. And here is 4. I didn't measure exactly. Okay. So, if you took like 6 handfuls of Fritos, and you took, a steak, this kind of thing, and if you had burger with fries, you're going to get approximately that amount of fat. Isn't that exciting? Help. It's gooey, that's for sure. All right. Now, So you see, when you look at it this way, it's like the sugar. I'm sure they demonstrated probably last week or one of the weeks. It kind of gives you a new perspective on things, doesn't it? Wow. Okay. Now, what are the unhealthful fats? And I'm sure you're quite aware of that already. It's the saturated fats as one thing. That's one of the major problems, of course, the saturated fats. This is in meats, in fast food. This is, again, loaded with saturated fat. And one of the problems, of course, with saturated fat, it has to do with raising, our increased heart disease risk. And so that's not good, of course. And it's always in the fast foods, pretty much. It's in snack foods. And of course, the saturated, at least the kind from animal sources, have cholesterol in them. Now, you probably already know that the cholesterol is only found in, like, animals, poultry, eggs, that sort of thing. There is no cholesterol, none, in the plant kingdom. Isn't that nice to know? So if you have a cholesterol problem, right away you know what you can cut down on or eliminate, and this will hopefully help your problem with excess cholesterol, certainly. So again, no cholesterol in the plant kingdom. But saturated fat, of course, the animal kingdom has much saturated fat, meat, butter, all those things are saturated fat. But there is some saturated fat in the plant kingdom, of course. And like palm oil, coconut oil, even all of your oils, all of the oils, the vegetable oils have a small percent of saturated fat in them. So that's just, so saturated fat is in both the plant and the animal kingdom, but much more in the animal kingdom. So that's something to think of. Now, you hear a lot about trans fats, and we're doing a lot better as a country these days. I think New York City, haven't they abolished any trans fats in their restaurants and things like that? And a lot of the fast food places have quit making the trans fats, because they were used for deep fat frying a great deal. Now, what a trans fat is, it's an abnormal fat. I don't mean so much abnormal, except that it's foreign to the body. The body can do a lot with all kinds of foods that we eat. It prefers some things over others. And hydrogenation is this process of making a trans fat. And what it does, and again, I don't know just how it does it, but they drive hydrogen into the molecule, and it makes it solid at room temperature. And Crisco is a perfect example. Now, you can get Crisco these days that is trans fat free, I see, if you look. But this has fat, and it says fully hydrogenated cottonseed oil, partially hydrogenated cottonseed, and soybean oil. So they have driven hydrogen in, and the body isn't as efficient in using this kind of a fat as it is in, say, an oil or something like in an avocado, nuts, and that sort of thing. So anyway, that's why trans fats is very much increasing the risk of heart disease and strokes and that sort of thing. So that's why they're trying to get rid of it. And so many products these days are saying trans fat free. And so that's good. That's one thing that they've done in the last few years that's particularly good. But it's, so it increases this. Oh, I might need to probably ask you, what do you think the hydrogenation does? What does it do? Well, I have to tell you, it increases the shelf life. That's what it does. You know how oils would get rancid? They would be sitting out and so forth, and if you were to put it in a cracker on the shelf for a long period of time, it would get rancid. Now, there are some other ways that they work with this. They get, I think, BHA and some of these things that help them last longer. But that's why they hydrogenated things, is to increase the shelf life. And it worked, but they found that it was very difficult, very hard on our bodies. Okay. Now, as far as cholesterol, I should mention a little bit about that. Right over here in Framingham, Massachusetts, is where the famous Framingham Heart Study has been going on for well over 50 years. And if you want to do an interesting study, look up on the internet about the Framingham Heart Study. And all they did, and they're into the second generation, they're looking at the children of the people they originally did. But they just watched people live or die is what they did. And they monitored them every 2 years. They brought them in, And they took their blood pressure, their weight, their blood, all kinds of things. And they found that cholesterol was one of the major risk factors for heart disease. So that's where this whole business of cholesterol and the relationship to heart disease came, right from Framingham, Massachusetts. So we can thank our neighbors over there for all this research. And hundreds of studies have come out of the Framingham Heart Study. So that's kind of interesting. Many studies have given us a lot of information. I, for many years, have been in the Nurses' Health Study that has gone on for many years as well, and has given much information about things. Okay, now, what are ways to add helpful fats? And she certainly gave a nice demonstration of it, didn't she? One of the ways, of course, is this ground flaxseed that we just talked about. And I showed you my little mill here that I use, and I just ground up a tablespoon this morning of flax, and I put it on my oatmeal. And by the way, oatmeal is good for helping to lower cholesterol. I'm sure you probably know that already too. If you eat oatmeal every day, that will actually bring it down some, and that's good. So that's one way to add. Put an avocado in your sandwich is another way, or in your salad. That's another way to add particularly good, helpful fats to your diet. And then she certainly demonstrated about a helpful salad dressing. I did mix up a little dressing here, and as you know, water or lemon, this is lemon juice and a little olive oil, and I put a little garlic. So I may have smelled like garlic because I had a little bit of this before, for lunch in fact. You can just, mince up a little garlic in your dressing, and I might try some sesame tahini. I've never done that before. But this is one way. And another thing you could do, you could even add some water. Have you ever tried adding water to I've had several Brazilian people live with me, and Vera Davis taught me actually a wonderful dressing. A lot of Brazilians add, like, they'll chop up green onions in here and little tomatoes and different things, and peppers of various kinds, make those delicious dressings. I love it. I love to eat in a Brazilian restaurant because they have good stuff like this, and sometimes they add chopped cilantro. Do you like cilantro, Helene? Yeah, I do too. I love some chopped cilantro. If you like that flavor, it goes great in a dressing like this. So that's just another way to add is the olive oil, and put, of course, avocados in your salad and that sort of thing. And then, of course, eating a few nuts. Now, as you know, nuts are good, but they're also caloric, just like the avocado is. But again, it won't cause you heart disease, so that's good, but it will add the pounds. So anyway, I think that we'll have a little new understanding on the good fats and the bad fats after this. Okay, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Peggy. Tonight we're going to be discussing chapters 4 and 5 in our discussion groups. I don't know about your tables, but our tables had some really good discussions, and I hope that we can enjoy our discussion tonight. Also, remember, before Thursday, maybe you can think about your fats and find some good, healthful sources of fat for your diet. And we'll talk about how we're doing that this week. Also, we'd like you to read chapters 6 and 7 for Thursday. And we'll have some more samples. And also think about your stress again. And maybe you might want to go back to some of the material that we've already had and see how we can reduce our stress. I like to see your knitting here. That's one of the things that I like to do that keeps me from having as much stress is to knit. And so that helps me. Some of you, it might make you more stressful to knit, but I like it anyway. Okay, we're going to have our groups tonight. And before we have our groups, I'd just like to end in a prayer. Father in heaven, we thank you for the way you've been blessing us in this group, and I pray that you'll be with us in our discussion and guide us back again on Thursday night for our last session, and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.